there we go to the tree of life and trading. There's 21 possible pathways you can get to success and a fulfilled life, right? But for every single individual, these pathways will be different because everyone is different. Everyone has a different personality. Everyone has different thought processes, behaviors, habits. Everyone is going their own journey and own adventure. Everyone has his own strengths and weaknesses, his own obstacles to overcome, and like the own things they're struggling with in their life, right? But overall, everyone wants to get to the last point, which is success and a fulfilled life, right? But how do you come there in your life in general? Or obviously in the industry we are in, trading, right? So what we made for you is an absolutely gorgeous and beautiful illustration where you can see the tree and the tree of life and trading and what it is, what it represents. We will have a lot of like stops by where we can go through until we're getting to the last stop or like destination, right, where we all want to be at, which is of course the fulfilled life and the training success you always dreamed about, and all of us already achieved it, right? But we will show you exactly of which possible pathways you can take, and your task is to identify in which direction, or let me change the color a little bit more to black, maybe that's easier. I think white or black is a little bit hard to see on this beautiful illustration. But what your task will be is to identify in what stage you are currently in and what pathway you're currently ongoing, because again, we talked about that you don't or you never can stand still. You're always progressing, you always move forward, right? And so you technically always are into one of those pathways, which brings you from one stage to another, right? But as we talked earlier, every pathway is different from person to person, right? So no one is walking the same exact journey, and everyone can walk different pathways. So for example, you can go from here to here, but then from here, you have three different options. You can go for this direction, or this direction, or this direction, right? Everyone chooses something else in their life and in their training journey. And right, we will show you what these pathways usually look like. And your task again is to identify what pathway you're currently in and what direction you should go to achieve your next goal and what you want in your life. Again, not everyone wants to go from here to this stage. Like some people don't want this stage, for example. Well, obviously everyone needs this one because I know what that one is, but I'm just giving an example here, right? But maybe someone wants to go straight here, right? Or then straight here. And someone else might want to go from here to here. So it's up to you what you want to decide, where you want your life to head, in what direction, what's the most important things in your life, what you want to achieve, what you care about, what you maybe not so care much about, right? But where's your focus on, and what's the right direction you want to go for yourself? And at the end, we will show you also what's the ideal pathway you could go, and obviously the future. You obviously can predict the future for yourself, depending on where you are, in what current state you are in, and what pathways you took, and what's the best pathways for your personal future to take, and if you take specific pathways of how your future will look like. So let's dig right into it. The first stage you will be in is the source. The source of life and trading is first of all the potential, the seed or the unmanifested. Okay, so that just shows what is possible, what you could achieve, because there's nothing yet. Technically, it is the nothing, right? So first there's nothing. Everything starts out of nothing, and then there's potential, there's a seed, and out of a seed, something can grow. You can see yourself as a little core, like a little plant, a little seed even, right? And you grow over time, but everything has to start from a source, right? So chances are that you already are further away in your journey than the source, right? Because again, not everyone is at the beginning of nothing. You already have some trading experiences, so you're not in nothing anymore. Nothing would be if you've not even heard about trading yet, right? and be like, oh, what is this trading? And then again, it has potential. Is the seed, which again can fulfill you or bring you to a successful life ahead, right? And it's the unmanifested, but what could be, but not is yet, right? And there's now two pathways you can go. You either can go the first pathway into this direction, or the zero pathway into this direction. We'll obviously show you why this is zero, for example, right? But you will start with the first pathway is from the source to understanding. And understanding is just the true reason of something, to truly understand what is going on and develop intelligence about something, right? So that's obviously what you should do when you're on a stage of the potential, or the seed, and the nothing, and the unmanifested. You want to get to a level of understanding, right? You want to build and create intelligence, and obviously you have to walk this walk in between. So what does it look like? It's the connection between the source and the understanding, right? So to get from nothing, or like the source, to an understanding level, it can overall, again, always is very challenging, right? It's not easy to get from nothing to literally understanding something. Think about a magician who pulls out a rabbit out of his hat, technically out of thin air, right? It is the path of mind over matter. Anyone who puts two people or projects together walks on this path. Logic and leadership rules on this path. Okay, so what does this mean? Technically, in your trading, your first steps of learning a new concept, obviously, right? You will find yourself struggling and isolated from others. Again, only if you close the doors technically and be like, yes, I want to understand this trading. You will find yourself, again, first of all, like with a lot of challenges, because again, everyone walked this path already. So chances are that you are already surpassed that path. But if you think back, every skill, not even trading, but any skill, it's very hard to learn it at the beginning, and you have to overcome a lot of challenges, right? And most of the time, you find yourself isolated from others. So your surroundings, be it your family or your friends, don't really go the path with you. Again, if maybe you talk to your family or your friends about trading and they're like, oh, that's a scam, doesn't work, this and this, negativity. So yeah, you isolate yourself from others and go your own way, right? And until obviously you find a new community, a new circle, a more advanced circle, which helps you much more, right? So the affirmation behind it is you're technically ready to dissolve your blocks. Again, you want to achieve something, you want to understand something, and you want to achieve a greater goal, which is in this path, the understanding of something, and to open all your channels of communication, right? And be ready to receive the message from within and without. Again, from yourself, you're making yourself the decision, yes, I want to learn and understand a specific task or specific skill, or like a specific thing in your life, right? And truly understand it and build the intelligence around that. And you are, of course, the creator of your own life, and you definitely can achieve it. Again, and chances are that you already surpassed this step and already achieved a lot of understanding of something. But if you learn something new, for example, the lit methodologies, right? It's a new challenge because it's something new. It's a complete new strategy, complete new guidelines, complete new rules, complete new understanding. It twists your old thought process about the market completely upside down and shows you the real path. But of course, you're in the beginning from nothing to understanding. That's the challenges. The challenges you will face is, for example, trickery, lies, and deception. That means if you want to understand something, again, doesn't matter what skill it is, there's chances that someone lies to you or that you receive false information. Again, think about your old trading journey. You probably learned the trading from whatever, free on YouTube, or Baby Pips, or like some crazy ass guy with like a Lamborghini tries to teach you something. But it's again, it's not really the way it is. It's again, it's not easy. That's the abusing of power of some people, right? And they want to show you, flash you with a lifestyle and blah, blah, but teach you everything. But for example, this, right? They're just abusing their power and you catch yourself trapped in other selfishness, right? And obviously that's not the way to go for, right? You have to walk this path for yourself, right? And be aware of potential other people trying to nonsense. Again, if it's family and say, don't go this path, and they lie to you and say this and this, and oh my God, your uncle, a cat died because it was a trader or something like that. Like whatever, it's nonsense, right? But there will be challenges that want to keep you away from walking this path from nothing to understanding, right? So walking in the shadows is another challenge where again you will feel, oh, you're facing this again for yourself. There's not really someone that takes your hand and walks this path for you. Again, can maybe walk the path with you, but not for you, right? And again, be aware that it can be a little bit dark, but I'm pretty sure if you remember your journey back, you already mastered it pretty good. So you're already in another stage of it. But yeah, that is the pathway from source to truly understand the reason behind something and build the intelligence about a specific task or skill, right? So if you found yourself into this pathway, you're still very early, but at least you're walking the right pathway. A different pathway some people might go, which is not the ideal pathway, but still technically a possibility, is if you try to go from source, like the potential, the seed, and the unmanifested, directly to wisdom. Wisdom and true care, right? True care, we talked about a lot in detail what true care means, that it opens the gates to obviously true knowledge because you're open to it as something very, very deep and you're truly putting in the actions and the required tasks to gain what? To gain knowledge or overall wisdom, right? And to go from zero, just from potential or the seed, to knowledge right away and gain wisdom, that obviously is, as you probably can think and you have already, not that easy and not optimal, because again, you're skipping to going to understanding first. You don't understand the topic or the task fully, but you try to gain wisdom right away. That's kind of the shortcut of things, but as we can dig into it, that's why it's zero, the zero pathway. That's technically, again, the source and wisdom. The zero path to get from nothing to wisdom is first of all very unlikely that you will do that or try that, and obviously a huge challenge and requires a complete new way of thinking. And it's not the path you should take, but some people literally took this path, but they will find themselves into more challenges and obviously a lot more obstacles in the way. But overall, this would be the pathway of the Joker, okay? And the Joker, he survives technically his own challenges in life, or of life technically, and his own recklessness by laughing at it all. The number 0, success, the state of mind one should walk this path with no fear, 0 fear. The Joker asserts that there is nothing or 0 out there to worry about. Why worry, right? It is the path of the innovator and the inventor, right? This is the path of the individual who does things in a very unique way. Because think about it. You're trying to go from nothing, from just the potential, to true wisdom and knowledge right away. Okay, so in trading, you'll find yourself feeling very foolish at the beginning because you try something completely new. You're technically learning out of complete try and error. You don't really know really what you're doing because you don't really understand to connect the pieces logically together. You're just trying something. You saw the potential and then you're just trying to get it. You try to understand technically right away. Without understanding, you try to really gain knowledge and wisdom. Obviously, as you probably think, that's very hard, but some people still did it, kind of, okay? Again, there's a lot of people involved in trading that just testing something out, don't really understand the logic behind it, but still making money in the market, right? So they gained wisdom technically without really understanding the overall market. So like, how does it work? Like, what's the logical consequences of X, Y, Z? If a buildup happens, what's the next logical thing? Why does a buildup happen? Who's in control of the market? Like, why does some strategies don't work? And the reason behind everything else. What's the enigma? Like, what's the architect? So how they drive price action? Like, how do they deliver price action? What's the the purpose of the banks and institutions? What's the purpose of liquidity? What is liquidity? They don't have an understand of all these things, but still kind of making money in the market. Some of them, again, definitely not the right way to go. But again, some people walk this path, make money in the market without having any understanding of all those things I just said, right? For example, there's a lot of other examples about, like, there's a very good movie, actually, I forgot the name right now, but it's a movie about like an ice hockey player who doesn't really have the understanding of the game. He doesn't really know the rules. He doesn't really know too well of how to play the game, but he's a very good street fighter, like a bar fighter, a rebel, crazy ass guy, right? And they just saw him as a potential player in still the major league, right? Just for purpose of fucking other players up, like from other players in the enemy team, obviously in the opposite team. Their best player, he just gets in the game, screws them up, punches them down, kicks their teeth, or at least tries to eliminate the other player in the game, right? Body checks the living hell out of them all the time. Obviously gets penalties, and at some point he gets kicked out of the game. But at least he takes out the best player from the other team, right? And that's his purpose. He still technically is in a path where he's in the major league professional ice hockey player, but he kind of skipped the path of understanding, right? Or the same thing with the trading, right? Again, we talked about that there's traders who lack the understanding, but technically on the stage of knowledge and wisdom, because what they do works for them. They just really don't understand why. Okay, so the affirmation behind that is you have no fear, right? And are open to all possibilities. You just say, fuck it, let's go. Okay. But then against the path of the Joker, right? So embrace all that comes your way, knowing that you are technically safe. That's where you'll be like, what do I have to lose? I just go for it, okay? And technically feel free in the process. Just like the Joker in a card game, you can change into any other card you choose. Or in other words, you can become whatever you desire, all right? But just keep in mind, the Joker can turn into a king, right? But he literally skipped the way of understanding the pathway. He doesn't understand the skills, the tasks, the technically even the purpose and everything that's required to become a king, because he just, boom, there's a go. Now you're a king. Okay, technically, yes, you're a king, but you're lacking a very deep skill set. Okay, so obviously the challenges behind that is the inconsistency, the foolishness, being weird, even very mad and chaotic in the process, right? And overall, it's a very challenging pathway. So if you find yourself into this stage, maybe you have to step away, one thing back, shift one gear backwards, and try to really understand something first before you try to become the king and have wisdom over a specific topic without going the right way, understanding it truthfully first, and build intelligence first before you gain wisdom. Okay, technically, yes, you can achieve it. You're making your life overall more complicated though. Okay, so keep that in mind if you find yourself into that stage, and obviously you will dig into the next stages. Another pathway you can take is from the source directly into creation. Creation is the stage of imagination, compassion, and action. That's technically if you want to provide service to someone else out of sympathy. Okay, so if you want to help others, if you want to create something, some sort of like helpful guidelines or tools, or just providing like some sort of service because you want to literally help others. That's what that means. Okay, but from obviously nothing to right into the stage of creation, of course, is not that easy also, and it's the longest path you can take. The second pathway you could choose is from the source to the creation. Okay, so as you can see in the illustration, these pathway, okay, they're easy and quick to do. This one is very challenging. Obviously, that's the way you should go for, right? But then you can choose a very long and exhausting path to go straight into the creation to it. So that means you truly have to be aligned. We talked about being aligned with the reality of life, and obviously with the mind and the heart. So that's where you see the potential of something and your heart just says, okay, I want to truthfully help someone. Okay. Because most people struggle to unify their feelings with their logical thoughts. Okay, this path can help you achieve this noble goal. This path is mainly the service for others and ends your selfishness. It is the path of healers, technically way back, obviously, right? They were healers, or technically nurses and givers, also charity workers, something like that. Again, if you think about a charity worker, he doesn't really understand or have wisdom about something too much. He just really wants to truthfully help someone, right? And just create whatever, some sort of charity. Okay. In trading, that can be a little bit challenging, okay? Because if you want to help someone else, again, you at least need some sort of understanding or wisdom in the process, right? So you first find yourself dependent on other sources, because again, you are lacking the understanding of wisdom and technically the understanding of understanding, if that makes sense, right? As you did not gain it yourself yet, right? So that will make you feel deeply in a lack of confidence. Because think about it, if you want to help someone else but don't really understand or have wisdom about these tasks, it's very not comfortable. It's not really a pleasant feeling to be in, right? Because again, you truthfully have the heart and development to be, yes, I want to help my family and my friends, for example, or my trading community. I want to give something back. You're like maybe a very social person, but you don't have the understanding and wisdom to give them proper tips and whatever guidelines. So it will be overall very challenging. Again, some people try to walk this path. That's why we want to just tell you that this path exists, and maybe you find yourself into that. But again, if you find yourself into this pathway, it's possible. It will be very challenging. The challenge is that you can be very moody from time to time, overly emotional, right? Because again, it's not easy. It's not pleasant to try to help someone if you're lacking the understanding and the wisdom. And you will be very dependent on people that have the understanding and have the wisdom, right? And again, that's the stage where you could fall into the trap of addictions and overall have a huge lack of confidence. Okay, so if you find yourself in there, then again, you know how to reverse it, build the understanding first, then try to go to wisdom. Then you can fulfill your life's goals or your noble goal of creating something for others, helping others, and go on the right pathway which you desire. Okay. So overall, the affirmations: you are one with your intuition, right, and psychic powers. You trust your inner voice and follow the path to help others, which leads you to endless possibilities. Again, the helping others and providing service to others will at the end give yourself the endless possibilities. Because again, it always says, help others 1,000 times and you'll get 1,000 times back whatever you wanted in your life. Okay. So helping others and whatever, making someone's life easier is overall a fantastic goal, right? That's technically what we do with Lit anyways, right? But guess what? Walking it without understanding and wisdom first is very, very hard. So to get to a stage of creation is absolutely amazing. But again, if you find yourself going right from nothing to the creation, that's probably not the best way to go for. And if you want to go for it, that's how it will look like, and you will face a lot of challenges in the process. Okay, so maybe rethink it, and maybe you build understanding and wisdom first